Hey there, this is Clay with RelationshipInnerGame.com, and in this video I'm going to be talking about 5 signs that you are too good for the guy that you are seeing, okay? So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Now, the first sign that you're too good for him is that you have to keep justifying his actions or his behavior to your friends or family or, people in your life, right? If there's something that he keeps doing, or if he keeps making a fool out of himself in some way or other, and you keep having to, tell your friends oh, he really didn't mean it, it was, he just was a little bit drunk that time, or, whatever it is, and this is like a recurring theme, then that could really be a sign that, there's some sort of big difference in social expectations in sort of the world that you're in and maybe the world that he's in, right? And that sort of disconnect could potentially mean that the two of you aren't really a good fit to really mesh together in the long run, right? So if his behavior or if his actions aren't really syncing up with what your expectation is, and you feel like you need to constantly be justifying or explaining his behavior to other people, then that's a big sign that you're not really a good fit for him, or he's not really good for you. I don't really like the term good enough for you, but maybe the two of you just aren't a good fit for one another. Okay. The second sign that the two of you aren't a good fit for one another, or if we just stick with it, he's not good enough for you, it's that you're sort of starting to lower your expectations of what you want in your life the more time that you spend with him, right? Now, sure, some people out there have really high expectations, unrealistically high expectations. They want a guy who's 6 feet tall, has blonde hair, one blue eye, one green eye, makes $150,000 a year, or more, has vacation houses all across the country, and all this stuff, right? And sure, I'm sure there's a guy out there that exists, but for some people out there that might be a little bit too unrealistic, okay? And I'm not talking about that kind of unrealistic expectations and lowering your expectations, right? I'm talking about most people, they have expectations of wanting to meet somebody and have a great life and just believe that somehow the future is going to be a little bit better than today is. Whether that's the two of you advancing in your careers, whether that's some good thing happening that's going to improve your quality of life in some way. That I'm talking about that kind of just basic fundamental level of expectation, right? And if you find that that's starting to shift downward, and suddenly you're just oh, well, yeah, it'd be nice if we could pay the bills someday, or oh yeah, it'd be nice if we stopped getting evicted from where we lived, and just if you find your expectations keep getting ratcheted down like that, then that could be a sign that this guy is not good for you, or really not a good fit for you. Okay, so that's sign number 2. Sign number 3 is that you keep wanting or hoping that he will change in some way. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about, the deadbeat loser who can't get a job or anything like that. Although that would definitely be inclusive in this statement here. But I'm just talking about if there's some aspect of him or his personality that, you just keep wishing would be different somehow, or you just keep hoping that you can change him in some way, right? Oh, if only he'd lose the weight, or if only he would, finally get that job, or if only he had a little bit more motivation, or if only he helped around more around the house instead of watched football all the time, or, whatever that might be. If there's some part of you that's not really ready to accept him for the person that he is, or hopes or prays that he changes in some way, then that's a big sign that you're not really ready to really love him for the man that he is. And it's not to say that he's wrong or that you're wrong or anybody's wrong. It's just that maybe the two of you just aren't a good fit for one another. And if that's the case, then it makes more sense to kind of let him go, so that you have more space in your life to welcome in a guy who you can accept and love for the person that he is. And of course it's also kinder to him too, because then you create the space in his life for him to find a woman who's willing to love and accept him for who he is as well too. So that is the third sign that maybe a guy just isn't the right fit for you, or maybe he's not good enough for you in that particular capacity. Okay, the fourth sign is that he hasn't any real life of his own. You know, he just kind of like goes to work and comes back and maybe watches TV or something like that. But there's nothing really in his life that's his own. And, you know, I'm not talking about, you know, like, yeah, he's like really into Game of Thrones or he's really into like football or something like that, because that's not really a life of your own. That's just kind of you passively watching and consuming things. You know, it's different if you're like actively involved in something where that thing also cares about you as well too, right? Like the characters on Game of Thrones don't care about you. They probably don't even know that you exist. The football players that you're watching on your favorite sports team probably don't care about you. They probably don't know that you even exist, right? But if you're like involved in some sort of like local group or something and people know your name and they thank you for helping out, or you're like really involved in like actively going out there and like doing something in the world, then that is something that I would consider like an actual life that you can be proud of. You know, the same thing goes with, you know, guys who just go to a job that they hate and are just sort of like going through the motions and all that stuff. Like that's really not a great life to live, because you're basically just like throwing away 5/7 of your life doing something that you don't want, right? So that if a guy is willing to accept that as his state of being, then that's probably a good sign that's probably not the kind of guy who's going to lead an inspiring life that you would probably really want to be excited about getting behind. Now, of course, this is a value judgment of your own, but you know, if there was somebody in my life who was just kind of going through the motions, just trying to make it to Friday night or something like that, then I would probably have a little bit of reservations myself, and so that's why I'm recommending this one for you. And the fifth sign that a guy just isn't the right fit for you, isn't good enough for you, is that you know, you feel kind of sad when you think about a future with him, when you think about, you know, this life that you have with him rolling out another 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 years from now, and it's like, okay, well, where is this going to lead to? Like, what kind of life are we going to live? Is it just going to keep on going this way, or are we just like hoping and praying that somehow like the heavens open up and something changes, or is this just it? And you know, if that's the case and you just genuinely kind of feel bad thinking about what it might be like to be with this person, you know, down the road in the future, then that's probably another sign that that guy probably isn't the right guy for you, and isn't really willing to sort of be your partner in this journey of life to help you sort of get to the same places on this path that we're all going. So I hope this has helped you out, and if you want to learn more about how to have a great, sustainable relationship with the kind of guy that you can really get behind and love wholeheartedly, then please go ahead and check out our website, relationshipinnergame.com. You can go ahead and sign up for our email newsletter there, and we'll start sending you tips, advice, and strategies to help you get the kind of loving, amazing, alive, passionate relationship that you want. So this has been Clay with Relationship Inner Game. If you like what we're doing here, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up or subscribe to the channel. And you know, by all means, leave a comment down below and let us know what you think. Until next time, take care.